Hey everyone, happy Sunday afternoon. We are in the midst of the summer, so the project that we're doing right now, oh geez, notifications still showing up on my phone. So we're in the middle of the summer. It's August 18th today, and yet this is the time where creative folks start moving into their fall, Halloween, even Christmas projects. Why? Because if you're creating to sell something, those holiday seasons gear up fast, and we have to have things ready for people when they want them. So today I'm working on a couple of fun projects. If you saw this week on my page, we posted pictures of skulls that I had acquired from Amazon.com. Nothing fancy. You all can buy them on Amazon.com. I'll put the links in the post here. And while they came aged and patinaed, that's not what I wanted from them. They are cast out of resin. So I primed and painted them base colors, and we're ready to start decorating them. Now these will be used in my Windows displays, but of course I'll sell them. Quite frankly, I'd sell my mother if she was still around to sell, and she'd appreciate it. All right, so let me gear the camera down. Let me also see myself on my business page here. Make sure there is no sound, because nobody wants to hear me talking and the echo. Yay, I did it right for once. I didn't actually get it so that you all hear me while I do that. And I can read your questions and comments as we go along. I will show you each product that I've used to get to this point we're at, and then I'll show you the products that we're using next. All right, let's move this camera down. And as you can see, that gray spot actually is a skull. So this skull came patinaed off-white cast resin. And if you look closely, you can see I've done some glitter and stuff on it, and I'll show you how we get there. So the first thing I did with this is I put on a coat of metallic black SetCoat. I know that's a little hard to read, and if you're seeing this live, it's flipped for you. So this is metallic black SetCoat, which when you open has sort of a pewtery color to it. It's really beautiful color. So I put a coat of that on, and then I used a product that I rarely use for some of these things because it's got a little texture to it, but for this it's perfect. I use Faux Effects, one of Faux Effects' newest products called Galaxy Stone. This color is called Charcoal. I didn't tint it, I used it straight out of the can. You can see it's kind of gloppy. It just needs to be stirred up. It is a paint product, not a plaster product. Don't get confused by the name stone, but what it does is it gives you this kind of cool, it's got glitter in it, kind of gritty texture, and it dries super, super hard and durable. I hope you appreciate my black paint and my cuticles. So we have this kind of glittery surface, and as you look at this too, you can see when this was cast, it's called, this one was called a Celtic skull. So it's got all these kind of cool Celtic knots and stuff on it. That is some of my personal background. I have Scottish and Irish ancestry, so I like to have things that kind of remind me of that. I'm also mostly German, so, you know, I like sauerkraut too, so I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm not painting with sauerkraut. So here we go. I'm going to show you where we got to with this. So I painted a Galaxy Stone inside the eyes and nose. I put foil adhesive, our infamous ArtsSyVille foil adhesive, let it set up, sprinkle black glitter in there. Gave a great dimension. Then I took a fine brush and painted the foil adhesive on some of the design, on some of these Celtic knots, and then let it set up and sprinkle more glitter on it. Now I'm going to show you exactly what I did because, you know, sometimes explaining it and showing it are two different things. So what I do when I have my gallon container of foil adhesive gets thick because it's been exposed to air. So in a separate cup, I often take some foil adhesive, thin it down with a little water. Don't thin the gallon because it can cause contamination. So if I contaminate something, If it goes a little funky, I've only made it go funky in a plastic cup. Let me see if I got anybody. I'm keeping an eye on comments and stuff. So if I miss anything, you know, let me know. Keep yelling. Hey Kate, nice to see you here. I don't often get to see you on my page because we're so far apart in time. All right, now it's a little hard for you all to see this design that I'm working on because the tones are really close. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start going over this pattern. I'm picking colors that I think are complementary to this blue and black, and keeping in mind that I'm working on Halloween, so I'm not gonna go springtime colors. I've got thinned down foil adhesive on my brush, and I'm really just following the pattern. This takes time. You can see it's extremely detailed in here. So all I'm gonna do is keep putting thinned foil adhesive. Thin it as much as you need to, but try not to thin it much more than 10 or 15% with water. Let's see, I got a little bit in there. I'm getting there with my fingers. Yeah, I might have a little extra glitter sticking there. And I'm just following the pattern as close as I can. Now this is kind of a crappy brush that I'm working with. This is the first time I've used this brush in probably a couple years. So I've got to try to roll the hairs tighter in it when I use it, because I got a few strays that are popping up and they're going to want to deposit product in the wrong place. If I slow down in my talking, it's because I'm trying to see the details, which even here, I can miss them. Even though I've got the light on it, I can see, depends on how the light's shining on my surface. All right. I'm going to try to do this whole area while I'm here with you, simply because then when it dries, I can apply glitter to the whole thing all at once, instead of having to go back in and redo the adhesive in spots that I've missed. All right, I like how this is coming out. I'm not terribly in love with this brush. I have a better brush, but we're using it on the other skull. And yes, we are working on 2 skulls today. Let's see if there's a little bit of detail right there. I had a lot of suggestions about putting gems in the eyes, which I loved. So I have ordered some large faux gems, which might actually show up while I'm on online here with you all. They were supposed to be delivered today, and of course Amazon's like, we'll deliver them by 9. Folks, my business, I leave the office 4 o'clock on Sundays, or maybe 5, depending on how the day's going. So yeah, let's hope let's hope they get to me before I close. Be kind of fun. We'll get the UPS guy on camera. He'll love that, I'm sure. Make myself really popular with UPS today. So I'm just going to finish here. And this whole pattern, if I'm not careful, these patterns almost seem to connect to each other, but they actually don't. So I have to watch when I get up into this detail around here so that I don't interconnect things that are not interconnected. And somebody's going to ask, because they always do, doesn't this take a long time? Yeah, it does. This is not the fastest part of any job. If you want it fast, coat the whole thing with foil adhesive in a big brush and roll it in glitter and you'll be done. But I want all these little details to stand out because I really like them. Let's see, anything I'm missing here? Ooh, you all are so quiet today. Nobody's got anything to say. Must be Sunday. Are y'all sitting outside watching me while you're at a barbecue or ignoring somebody in the family? The new way for people to ignore each other, even in the same room, is to look at their phone. Not that new to us, but technically new. All right, so I only got a little bit more left to do, so you can stop listening to me yammer about nothing. And we're gonna let this sit up and get dry while we're working on the other one, and then I'll show you how it pops the relief with the glitter. And a nice thing with foil adhesive, if I discover I've accidentally missed a spot, because it's really easy to do when you've got an intricate pattern, all I have to do is go back and put a little more adhesive down. Now, I know you're going to ask, because everybody does, why don't I put the adhesive on the entire design all at once, since this adhesive always stays sticky? Well, that's kind of the problem. If I want different colors in different patterns on here, having this stay sticky forever is problematic, because I don't want the foil, the glitter in other colors to stick to spots that I've put adhesive on, but I don't want the colors there. I will only put adhesive on the one area or the 2 or 3 areas that I know I might be using a single color on, and then come back and fill in other patterns. And if you are missing what I'm saying, please tell me so I can clarify, because sometimes when I'm painting, it's hard for me to talk in a competent manner. I get so focused on the painting that I forget the words that are coming out of my mouth. That's usually why I'm kind of verbally stumbling, but I don't mind. As long as the result is what I want, I don't care if people think I'm a blathering idiot. So that whole pattern now, you can see I've painted on the whole design, and there's different weights of the product in there because some of it's already starting to dry and some of it's brand new and fresh and wet. So that we'll set that over here to the side for later. I'm going to bring a cup of water over. I'm going to change skulls and change brushes. Oh look, a white blob. Put away the foil adhesive. And actually, so that you all can see this better, I'm actually putting the skull on a piece of brown paper because that'll help you catch this a little better. So we have the exact same skull. And I know I can see certain things happening on one screen, I'm not seeing them on the other. Hey Kathleen, hey Lori, and hi Tanya. Tanya, we're going with your similar suggestion to your Day of the Dead. Don't ask me to say it in Spanish because my Spanish is atrocious. 3 years of Spanish studying and I still don't speak it well. I am not gifted like my stepkids are with languages who speak several languages fluently. That's not my gift. Okay, so I am watching this on one screen and I cannot seem to get your comments on. Oh, this is being so stubborn. All right, well then I'll just sort of have to peek at this. Anyway, so with this, again, I primed. It's got a couple of coats of, what color is this? Metallic Snow SetCoat. Dries very, very hard. And the reason I went with snow instead of dead white is the snow has a slight metallic shimmer to it, very subtle. And that's what I wanted. As you can see, I haven't even done anything on this because I'm waiting until you all get here. Yay! So the next thing we're gonna do, I've got a cup of water onto the side. I'm gonna take a little palette and we're going to use a product you haven't seen me use that much. It's a favorite product of mine, but I've been selling and working with so much foils and foil adhesive lately, and pigments for epoxy that I kind of forget sometimes I have other products. So the first thing I'm going to do is use my Vivid Ultra Metallic or Ultra Surface God, I can't even read it. Multisurface acrylic medium, and it's an enamel gloss. And what this does is it's a clear base for you to add any kind of pigment to. It specifically was formulated for the pigments we're about to use. And you can see I'm just pouring a little bit in each of these because I don't know how much I'm going to get to while we're on camera, and I don't want to bore the tar out of you. All right, so the colors that we're going to be using are the primary elements pigments. These pigments are gorgeous, they're metallic, and they are designed for water-based mediums only. Yes, you can put them into plasters and everything else, but it's not always the best choice because, quite frankly, these are metallic, so you don't want them in plaster, the pigment disappears. You want them in something transparent, translucent, transcendental. Something that doesn't block out all the metallic pigments. This color is called Orange Peel. This is what it looks like in the jar, which is pretty uninteresting. And then you put a little bit into the pigment. Now you can over pigment things. What I mean by is you can put too much pigment in here. It's a little like the resin art pigments. It's about 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon per ounce. You can be a little more concentrated. You can absolutely go a little less concentrated, but you don't. What happens with these is if you over pigment that, you put too much pigment in, when it dries, the pigments will float to the top of the surface, and you're gonna basically have to run it underwater because it'll, if you try to top coat over it when it's too pigmented, you'll get pigment blending into your top coat because your top coats are generally water-based. So here's the color. Here's the color it mixes to, this gorgeous orange. And I know I may not have made much sense with this, but the question is often, can you put too much pigment into your mediums? And with this product, the answer is yes, you can put too much in, because what happens when you put too much in, the extra pigments, as it dries, float to the top of your painted surface, and you have loose pigment sitting on top that has to be wiped off or rinsed off and removed before you top coat with a water-based product, because it will then get and smear into all your other products. Okay, let me find another color here that's Love Struck. Hot Cinnamon. Hot Cinnamon is a funky color. In here, Hot Cinnamon looks really brown. It's not brown. In the pigments, it turns bright red. Look at that color. Hi Charlie, nice to see you. Look at that gorgeous red. I love that color. I like to let these sit a little bit because if there's any dry chunks of pigments that didn't dissolve, this gives it a chance to bloom a little. By bloom, I mean that the moisture absorbs into the chunk of pigment and blooms out onto the surface. Okay, what other color do I want? We're just gonna stick with a couple of, I'm gonna kind of go on the orangey spectrum with this one since I was sort of leaning towards blue with that. This color is, I don't remember what color this is. Let me close it up and turn it over before I do. This color is called Sunflower, and it gives a sort of nice yellow that has a slight, very slight hint of orange. It's a very golden yellow as opposed to a citrus yellow, which is has a hint of green in it. So you can see this nice yellow pigment. Oh, I love this color. All right. I've mixed my colors. I'm gonna put all the pigment jars away because I know me. I spill stuff, I knock it over, so I'm putting them back into the container I have it set aside for. I'll move my sticks out of the way. I'm gonna move my palette off to the side a little bit because the way the camera has to be set up for lives, they don't like that. If the The camera is, if I turn it sideways and you'd see everything on my table. So again, we have orange peel, hot cinnamon, and sunshine yellow. Or what did I say it was sunshine yellow? What color did I say it was? Oh my Lord, I can't even remember anymore. Sunflower yellow, sorry. I knew I was wrong on that one, so here we go. Sunflower yellow, hot cinnamon, orange peel. And if you look up close to the edges here on some of these, let me see if I can get a place where you can actually see it. You can see some darker specks in the colors, and that's what I mean by the colors blooming. These pigments, I need a little extra time for the moisture to penetrate all the way through, get in there, and bloom out the colors. It happens with all kinds of powder pigments, especially if it's a little chunky. I love powder pigments. Now I can mix and match any of these colors together. You're not locked into it. You know, if I wanted to, I could take a little bit of the red and the yellow and everything and mix up another color in here. That's not what I'm doing tonight because I want to show you the colors straight as they are. All right, so let's play with this front guy here for a second. All right, let me hold it so you can see it. I take a little bit of the orange peel, and all I'm gonna do, again, follow the lines of the pattern. Now, I didn't have to follow the lines of the pattern. I could create over it. I happen to like this patterning on here, so I'm taking advantage of it. I'm not trying to disguise it. And like any acrylic paint, you can get some streakiness in it. So I might want to go over it a second time, I might not. I am trying to be very conscious of how these lines cross over each other. Hey Deb, nice to see you. Because I want them to look as woven with the paint as they are in the casting. So see right here, this line crosses over this line. So I'm not going to brush it over that way. I'm going to get this line in here and then smooth this part over to make sure it looks like it's crossed properly. For example, and then this part here crosses over that, because this is actually all one intertwined line. So sometimes it's a little complicated. I really like this though. I love this orange. It's one of my favorite colors. Actually, I just love color. I keep saying things are my favorite color, and the fact is, I love color. You haven't guessed by my styles that you see me paint. I really love color. Doesn't mean I can't do neutral. It just means that given the opportunity, I will often choose color over, and vivid colors over beige and gray and neutral stuff. Now, all of these paint products are available on paintedstudio.com. The skulls I got from Amazon. I think they ran me about, I don't know, $15, something like that. There were plainer ones available as well. All right, turn this around a little bit so I can see this part. It's a little hard to paint when you're painting for the camera because I can't always see what I'm missing until I turn it around. So I can see like I missed spots up here. Whereas if I was just painting by myself, I'd be flipping the thing like a pancake so I could easily get every angle. and not worry about what you all see. Because, you know, nobody's watching then. Now, if I'm lucky, Postman will show up, or UPS will show up with my gemstones while I'm here on camera so you can see. But I do have big gems planned for each of these. No, I'm not putting gems up his nose. I'm sorry, that's just... I don't want to pick the gems out of the skull's nose later on if I want to change this. It's kind of gross. I know it's not real, but I don't like picking anything's nose. Hell, I didn't like cleaning my son's nose when he was an infant. It's one of those things that can handle a lot of things, but, you know, boogers are just not it. And I'm not making gem boogers that I have to pick out of a skull's nose later. Alright. Oh, I really like how this is coming out. I'm one of those people, I choke up on my brush a little too much. I've never been one of those people who could just hold the brush all the way back here and just, that's not how my hands work. I need to be a little closer in. I admire those people who can paint like that. God knows. I've seen so many of my fellow artisans who can just, you know, take their paintbrush, hold it back here, and do the most minute details. That's not me. I admire that. I envy that. I hope one day to be in that place. But I don't know. It might take me another 50 years on this earth to get me to that place. Alright, so I'm going to turn this. I'm going to get this swoop here. Oh, I really like how that's coming out. Oh, I really love this. I mean, that is pretty cool. Right now, you know, looks a little like a crown going on, and I kind of dig that. I think that's going to be an awesome thing. And what you can't really see right now, but it's part of Celtic knots and stuff, is that you can see like bird heads up in this area and things like that, and I always love that kind of look. All right. So I'm going to get up in that area later. I'll get all those swirly, scrolly spots like that later up in here. But I think what I'll do right here is I'll take a little bit of the red and show you how that red translates on here. Because look how bright that is. It's very vivid. You don't have a weak red in this. Now, some of these questionable line works that I'm doing has nothing to do with me and painting. It's how these were cast. And they're a little rough. Quite frankly, some of the cast areas are a little... The detail fades in and out. Now, that doesn't mean I can't work with it, doesn't mean I can't fix that, doesn't mean I can't make it look the way I want to. It just means I have to adapt. Really like how this red looks here. Check something on the other side. I want to just see how that pattern reads so I know how I'm filling it in. times to just check the other side. And quite frankly, if I screw it up a little bit, that's what white paint's for. I'm really happy with how that looks. Oh, that's so pretty on there. Yeah. See, I think right here there's a little inaccurate read. There's a little bubbling, so I've kind of got extra paint in there. You know, even though my brush is following the lines, I can also visually see that there was a little funny spot there. So that's going to be the spot that I need to fix. Completed here. So you can see that really cool color and that really nice shine. And once again, look at how beautiful these metallic colors are. Oh my God, they're so gorgeous. So as you can see, this is not a fast project. This is going to take a little while. So I'm going to come in one more color, one more spot, and I think what I might do is just take a little yellow up here so you can see how that yellow shows. You can see these are really nice, vibrant colors. So I'm really, really pleased with this. I think I'm going to stop right here because I don't think y'all want to sit here and watch me paint yellow and yellow and yellow. So we've done those. I will come back and work on these later. I'm going to bring back this other skull. As you can see, all of that foil adhesive has dried transparent. And then I do this as easy a way as humanly possible. Of course, there's water in there because I rinsed this bowl out. But I like to sprinkle my glitter over a bowl. It kind of reduces the fallout from everything. So I just got to dry the bowl because I rinsed it out from doing it before and there was water all over it, and that doesn't help me right now. Why? Because if I shake glitter into this and then I want to pour it back in the container, it doesn't work if I get it wet. All right, so we've got black in the eyes, blue on the head, and then foil adhesive. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some of my copper glitter and I just sprinkle. And what this is going to do is, it's going to pop all of that design detail. And it's a little dump. Slapping my skull upside its head. But look how that relief pops now that the glitter's on it. Do I see a little spot that needs a little more? Yeah, I do, right there. Look how that makes that design pop. Oh, that's so cool looking. These are gonna look great in my store window. Now, I've still got this whole top. I got this side. I got a lot to do on these skulls, and they're gonna keep me very busy. I know you saw the other skulls we posted in the video. Those aren't the ones I'm working on today. Those will be on a live next week. So I'm gonna set these aside, and we're gonna talk a couple more moments. God, it's great to see you all here on a Sunday. Thank you for giving me your time. Let's see if I can get this camera to stay upright so you're not looking at nothing but my nose. All right, so the other thing that we're carrying for the Halloween season, fall season, are wooden cutouts. Now, I've primed all of my cutouts with colors, but I'm just showing you the shapes. So in stock now, in the studio, we have pumpkins. Let me go back a little. We have these big pumpkins cutouts. These are all made out of birch. They're all pre-sanded. They're all ready to be painted. I've painted this one copper. We have a couple of different style of leaves. Here's one. I've painted this one in metallic true brown. We have the acorn. It comes with its own little leaf. Again, I've primed this. The oak leaf is in metallic copper SetCoat. This is just the beginning of these. We carry wooden cutouts with small skulls and big skulls. So I'll hold this so you can see. Big skulls. Again, these are all birch. They all came just bare wood, pre-sanded, ready to go. And then we have the big maple leaf. Look how pretty these are. Now all of these are available for you, ready to be shipped to you at paintedstudio.com. I'm putting these up off the floor before I trip on them because we all know I'm not God's most graceful gazelle. I trip on things. So we have all of those available for you, paintedstudio.com. We have foils and glitter and paints and sizes, all kinds of wonderful things for you as we gear into the fall season. All of these cutout shapes that you see here, you will be seeing videos on between now and through September, and it's going to be a very exciting fall for us all. So thank you all for being here. Thanks for giving me time on your Sunday afternoon, and have a great weekend. Bye.